London Mayoral Candidate Nims Obunge joins me from London via Skype. Good to have you join us.
Great to be with you. Thank you for having me.
Now, you were looking to repeat history, which was first made by Ken Livingstone in 2000, when he won as an independent mayor of London. That was when the office was first created. He later moved to the Labour Party in 2004. So help us understand the possibility of an independent candidate becoming the mayor of London.
Thanks a lot for that question. Well, here's the reality. Sadiq Khan, the incumbent, is the mayor by virtue of the fact that on the second preference vote, he got up to 1.3 million. So we have a two-preference voting system. If you don't get up to 50% of the votes, when you look at the electorate's first preference, then you look at the top two, put them aside, and look at the second preference of the other folks who have been removed. So he got 1.3 million people in a city of 9 to 10 million people. So in reality, we have a mayor who is in office by virtue of the election of just a minority of Londoners, 1.3 million, because there was political apathy and people did not feel that what he brought to London was valid for them. So they didn't even vote. So as an independent, I have the ability of bringing the Labour voters, the Conservative voters, those that have political apathy, and those from other who are stragglers within whether the Lib Dem, Green Party, or other parties, and come to that place where we bridge the difference that has continued to exist within partisan politics in London, and we start moving towards a city where we have safety, affordability, making sure we're more prosperous, and we have an agenda that's around green and electric lifestyles that essentially give Londoners a better future.
We understand that in some countries and cities around the world, we've seen electorates rallying against the establishment. Do you sort of feel that that's the sense in London, where people are saying, look, we want someone who is not entangled with the day-to-day politics?
Well, absolutely. I'm driven by the fact that I've worked with politicians for the last 20 years, no, more than 20 years. Tony Blair, Gordon Brown, Theresa May, David Cameron, and Boris and Sadiq. And much as I have respect for all of them, because each of them have put their head above the parapet, even Ken Livingstone, but there comes a moment in time where you decide that no longer should politicians hold the future and the reins of the masses, but it's about time we empower the voice of the community to start taking the drive and leading the city forward. And that's what I bring. I bring that capacity to the City of London, where we're saying we want to empower the voice of the people. And what we see going on in other countries, I believe that moment's here for London.
One of the major issues you are running on is your campaigning against violent crimes. And one must say that you have over 20 years of experience in that regard. And in a recent survey, it was also seen as a major issue for electorates in London. But however, the sort of thing that Sadiq Khan seems to, which is an incumbent mayor, has the best approach. He had a lead in that survey. How do you react to that?
Well, here's one truth. I've sat with Sadiq, and I remember at the death of one of our young people, I said to him, look, Sadiq, we've lost too many people. I want you to help us. We will get behind you. Let's address these issues that are impacting our communities. Because we're not looking at violent crime on its own. We're looking at the issues, the lives behind the knives, the issues about socioeconomic deprivation and a lot of hardship that exists with these young people. And I asked him to get behind it. And unfortunately, his answer, which I will not say publicly, was not just the right answer and was not appropriate to that situation. That was one of the things that made me make a decision. Having buried more young people than any politician has, and having stood with families that are traumatized, even just today, and a father called me who's lost 2 or 3 of his sons to violence in our city, and he lost another son. And he kind of said, Nims, I can't continue to see this destruction in our city. I intend to stand as that person that has empathy, but yet the know-how on how we fix this melee in our society. Having done that with the Peace Alliance and having worked I used to chair the London Criminal Justice Board Advisory Group, and I worked with the Metropolitan Police chairing the issues around knife crime. Sadiq was never there. He's just become the mayor, but he never had 20 to 30 years with his sleeves rolled up, working on the streets and dealing with the issues I've had to deal with. No, I think I'm the best mayor.
He seemed to be taking the lead amongst contenders, whether with or without this major issue of crime. But also his approval rating also seems to be dwindling. He's moved from 47% to 41%. 41% of people approve of his approach. 37% disapprove of his approach. The other contender, which is conservative, Sean Braley, also I hope it's Braley, is also having issues, especially with sexism and misogyny. So let's zero in on the 34% who disapprove of Khan. What is your message to them? How do you intend to win their votes?
First, I want to address the percentage that is actually not targeted at many within my community, within the Black and minority ethnic communities. And so in essence, they take a percentage from a certain community and they will assume that is what London is saying. That's not what London is saying. It's just like saying how he became the mayor on 1.3 million because 4 to 5 million never voted. And so my message to Londoners is today is the last day. Today is the 19th of April when all Londoners can register to vote. I want to say to everybody who knows anybody in London, encourage them to make sure they get their name on the registration document. Tomorrow is the last day to arrange for postal votes. But now let's talk about the opportunity I bring. What I bring to Londoners is the opportunity for jobs, making sure that we have a fair and a safe city. And what I want to also say to Londoners, I have that opportunity as mayor of London to bring a message around innovation hubs where we work on this fourth revolution of technology. And Sadiq worked for 5 years. And in 5 years, there's a massive dissatisfaction and there are desperate concerns. I don't believe I'm speaking to 31%. I think I'm talking to much greater than that. I think I'm speaking to 70% of Londoners. And I want to flip the script and say, it's time for some difference to come to London. And I bring that.
So we understand that race plays a lot of plays a key role in elections all over the world. And you are a British Nigerian. You're also a black man. What kind of support are you getting from Africans, especially Nigerians, who now are citizens of the UK? And how do you also intend, if you do win, what would be the benefit for them, for the Africans who are living in the UK now?
Well, during the Black Lives Matter protest, I was actively on the streets, making sure that the young people were kept safe. And during the End SARS campaign, I was on the streets leading the 1 minute silence and just crying out for justice. I've been an advocate for justice, equality for all. At the moment, I co-chair the Race and Equality Commission with Baroness Stroud from the House of Lords. And my politics is a politics that works across all ethnic groups, all faiths, all religions. I facilitated the largest multi-faith breakfast leadership conference in London, and that worked across Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, Jews. Now, to those who are Nigerians and to those who are Africans in London, my message is quite simple. What I bring is an opportunity to open the doors for prosperity for all, to make sure that your issues don't ever get ignored again. Stop and search, that has been where we're 6 or 7 times more likely to be stopped and searched by the police, and I've been a victim of it. I intend to make sure there's equality across the policing spectrum in London. I also intend to make sure that what we have is community coaches and chief special constables that come from across all our communities. I want to see a fairer policing system that allows young black men and black women and people of other races coming together in that same space. And where even in the business sector, because I also run a fintech company, in the business sector, we don't see it as an exclusive to just those who are of a certain background. But no matter what your background is, London has to be the city of dreams and the place where we're able to empower those who might have been disenfranchised to believe that they have a stake in the game. They're key stakeholders. We empower them to believe that they can win.
Nims Obunge, there are lots of issues here. I wish we had enough time to look at all of them. You just mentioned the issues of startups in London as well as housing. Those are real issues, but we do not have enough time to look at them. I also understand that you lost your mom some days ago. My condolences to you and every member of your family. Thanks for talking to us.